Hello, Dangerlings, and welcome to another fantastic Danger Wednesday, where we will get dangerous. Of course, it's me, your usual host, James Foxy Lockhart, and joining with me is our usual guest. He's doing salutes already. It is the Dungeon Master. Hello, Dan.
Hello, everyone. How are we doing today? How you doing, James?
Oh, well, Candice is here and ready. I'm doing all right, thanks. Yeah, the weather's taken a bit of a turn, but that benefits the streamer and the podcast because don't go out and do things outside. Come and listen to us and watch what we've got to say as well. And how have you been, Dan?
I'm all right. I've been having fun. I've been doing it. I had an acting job today, of all things, which are very rare.
My God, that is rare.
So I was doing one of these exciting gigs that actors do that no one realizes actors do, where we do GP training. So you go and play a patient for a group of doctors who are training, and basically do a consultation with them so they can practice like having a difficult patient or having a weird case or something like that they have to sort of work out, and they get assessed on it.
Nice.
And it was like their exam prep stuff. But it was great. It was all on Zoom. I had nice, easy ones. I was a guy with a hangover who was trying to get a sick note. And I was someone with tennis elbow. That was the easiest ones. Like last year I was a suicide risk. That was a nightmare. That one's pretty heavy. Some of them can be really tough. Those ones, easy. I nearly got the sick note as well. You get really competitive because you're trying to guide them to doing the right thing.
Yeah.
But sometimes you can be like, this character just wants to get a sick note and get away, and actually he's a borderline alcoholic, and the doctor has to try and find that out and give him some support. But I'm like, but I nearly get the note. I can get the note. She's not realizing. They got it.
Yeah, well, it's that's good. I have heard many tales of medical roleplay. I haven't done it myself, but everything from schizophrenia to all sorts of quite involved mental health conditions that you've really got to read up and find out. They often don't tell you before the call. So
some of them are really and you only find out the details a couple of days before, so you have to kind of do a bit of your own research and be ready for it. But it's nice. It's one of those things that's nice to do over Zoom. I finally had that working from home feeling that normal people have had for 6 months now, where I got to do a full day's work just over Zoom and not leave. Because normally for this I have to go to Dorset to do one of these sessions. So I had to get up and be on the 6 a.m. train out of London. And last time I did that, I went all the way to Dorset, and then it was simulating a phone call. So I went and sat behind a screen and pretended to be on the phone to somebody. Whereas this time I could actually be on the phone.
It's just ridiculous. Yeah, I think one came up that I got offered, or somebody said it, and they're always in really random places like Cambridge or Bournemouth or Dorset and things like that. They're never ever London. Never London. I think probably all those gigs have already been bagged many years ago, and they get the same people again and again. Hello, Alakar. Welcome.
Hey, Chris. How you doing? Made it through the storms.
Made it through the storms. How were those storms? Let us know what it is. Good morning, Steve. Is it morning there? I don't know. No, actually, it's probably about
Steve, who knows?
It's probably about 2 o'clock in the morning.
Of what it is now.
Definitely, yes. This is not quite the morning, but this is the 6 o'clock GMT. But lovely to see you, mate. Lovely to see you. Hope you're all doing very, very well out there. And lovely to see you all. It's very good. And we've got a bit of a casual show today. We'll be talking about a few bits and bobs, and then we have got a small announcement to make at some point. But I think we'll just a little one, just a teeny weeny one. And hi, Steve. How tired are you? That's not a question to ask somebody. But seriously, Steve, how tired are you? Because he's a ledge. Alakar still has no internet at home, but I'm at my in-laws' place until it comes back. Oh God. I mean, that's at the moment as well. No internet literally sends a chill down my spine. I don't know what I would do. But yeah, glad you made it through the storm. Okay, that was that looked pretty intense. We did all. You weren't watching, obviously. We would be very surprised if you were watching. But we all sent you our best wishes and hoped you were okay. So I suppose we should move on to news.
Yes. Have we got a jingle yet for our news? Man, the budget on this show is
I know, right? Through the roof.
There's not a ton of news this week. I did have a little look into it.
Oh, sorry, I forgot to tell you that comes in a bit later. So we'll try that again. I can cue it up again if you want, or should we just...
Do you want to cue it up again, and we'll go straight into the news.
DCP News. There we go.
Professional.
So professional.
DCP News.
No one could see me do that.
So there's not a ton of news this week in terms of the Paizoverse, because for a couple of reasons. It's the end of the month, so we're coming to the end of all of the stuff that's been released.
Yeah.
And also we only just really had PAX where we got the big announcement about some of the new playtests and all the new stuff and the new adventure path, which we talked about last week. There's a few bits and bobs. There's a couple of nice bits. There's a thing coming out for a couple of bits coming out for Starfinder that I'm quite excited about. I know that we seem to talk about Starfinder more than Pathfinder on the show at the moment, but that's because the Pathfinder stuff all seems to come out on its own. And it's just been a Starfinder heavy sort of section of the summer. But you've got the second part of Devastation Arc, which we reviewed the first part on the show a couple of weeks ago and liked it. So that's exciting. It's got a dragon on the front, so that's always nice.
Ooh, love me a dragon.
With a dragon, man. And another thing that I'm quite excited about is the giant starship flip mat. So they're
the giant starship flip mat.
Yeah, flip mats it's because they're double-sided, so you can flip them over.
I see. Right. I thought we'd strayed into QVC territory for a moment there. And this is like, you can chop carrots on one side, and on the other side, it does the tomatoes.
I bet there's someone who uses it for that.
Yeah,
but there's they're good. The maps are really good. Obviously we don't play with maps. But this one is interesting for a couple of reasons. Partly because it's a massive starship. It's basically a dungeon map, but of like the interior of a massive spaceship. So you can it's got like the canteen in it and like the bridge and the dormitories. And so if you want to have a whole adventure taking place on a big spaceship, you've now got the map to do it. And I think that's quite neat. Sweet. The other thing that I quite like is linked to what's sort of happening generally at Paizo at the moment with stuff is that they're trying to get on top of digitalization of a lot of things. And they have said that flip mats going forward, I'm not sure if this one is included, but they're basically going to be releasing, when you buy the PDF of it, you'll get high-res JPEGs as well, which are really easy to import into stuff like Roll20 and online things. So if you want to play your online ones of that would be good. Which, as somebody who is currently converting Signal of Screams to play on Roll20 by grabbing screen grabs out of the PDF of the book, trying to make maps with that, I would be very, very grateful for that. To be honest, Paizo, I'd be really grateful if you could just put all of the Starfinder adventure paths on Roll20. If you could just sort that out with Roll20, that would be great, because Aeon Throne saved so much time, and it is a pain building it all from scratch.
Yes. I mean, we've had hello everyone who's joined us. By the way, it's the usual sort of crowd, which is fantastic.
Hey.
Although I think the standout point is that Steve makes the excellent comment that I make awesome maps. After the Goldsmith Heresy, of course, we all know what a cartographer I am. And Rogvigeg is very pleased about that as well, because the maps never line up apparently, so it's great news.
We did a fun thing for that, which I don't think we ever released. Maybe we'll put it out somewhere. Find an outlet for it. If only we had an outlet to put this stuff out on. Where we did a copy. We had Velda's map, like your hand-drawn map that you'd done.
Years.
Which was wonderfully awful, because it got dropped on you both as a character and as a player. Everyone was like, draw the map.
Yeah.
So you're like trying to record a podcast and do your character while drawing a map on the back of the character sheet.
Yeah, you could definitely see the point where I actually found that map today, oddly. I was sorting out some more paperwork, and you could see the point where I lost track of where we were. Really, it's pretty good, and then it goes and then I was making bits up in between. I was like, I don't know where we are.
I have it compared to. I've got somewhere a copy of the map of the Godsmith Ossuary from that dungeon, because it's massive. It's one massive dungeon.
Yeah,
and I've got that with arrows marked out on showing the path of the Danger Club through the Ossuary, basically based on which episode it is and where key bits from all the show happen in it. So you can kind of compare it, and it's funny because of how different it is to Velda's map, but also you can see just how many times you guys backtracked at one point. There's one thing where the arrows just go backwards and forwards about 6 times.
Yeah. There was some really cool little tricks and traps in there as well. The statue and the bird and some other stuff going on in that dungeon. It was a cool dungeon.
It's a great module. It's a great dungeon. We've said it before on the show, but the thing I like about Godsmith is that I could run you guys through Godsmith a second time and you could have a completely different experience, because you only did about half that dungeon, and you only need to do half the dungeon in any direction to complete it. So you can basically play the module twice, which is so rare in modules. I really like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I do respect the fact that she's listening to she's halfway through a work meeting, so we're not allowed to say that she's actually watching DCP News whilst having that on. I mean, I like the fact you call it DC News. That's not all we do, but we definitely won't tell anyone on this public Twitch streamed channel. So no, it's definitely secret. It's like a locked vault, an inner sanctum that only the world can access. So your secret is safe.
There will be no secrets. But what else have we got in terms of news? For that's basically it. There's a blog on the Paizo blog as well about running high level play for Starfinder, which is interesting because it's not something that's come up on Starfinder very much. High level play isn't something that I have done very much. I think the highest I've ever run a Pathfinder campaign was us when we got to our last campaign. We got to like level 15, something like that, which is where a lot of that's around where most adventure paths cap out anyway. So that's all you really play to in first edition.
Yeah,
a lot of the time, unless you play some of the later ones. Second edition ones go straight up to 20. I am very tentative about when we get into high level play. It's a lot of work, and I would, personally, yes. I'm one of these players. If I'm one of these GMs, if I could just play low level forever, I think I'd be happy with that, because I quite like that. I quite like the simplicity of it. But after a while, you do get tired of fighting goblins and bandits. And if you want to fight the really cool stuff in the bestiary, like I was planning encounters for some of the upcoming episodes, and just sitting there with both bestiary books. Talked about like why I like having the bestiaries as hard copies, because I can just sit in bed and flip through them and be like, that looks cool, let's fight that. But like a lot of the really, really funky cool stuff, it's all kind of higher levels. So it's,
yes,
you do have to get there eventually. I have to give you guys some experience points at some point.
It's true. It is true. Yes, because I think actually, I know we've spoken about it before, but the core podcast is actually being held back somewhat on the leveling. I know you've done that consciously to keep us at the lower, more interesting levels. Steve agrees. Steve says podcast grind after a 10th level or so. Takes ages to get through a battle. Yeah, yeah. And of course, we've spoken about it before on previous Danger Wednesdays that it just... What do you throw at a level 15 party? It's like, I want to go to the bathroom. Oh, there's a dragon in the toilet. It's well, cool. And it's difficult to come up with a very compelling story that constantly has that kind of level of threat. Even the Avengers just had a big attack on New York, and then they kind of chilled out and faced some smaller foes for a bit. You can't keep having that level of threat.
No, you can... And you can build to it to a point. And I think we'll get there, and I think it'll be quite fun when we're there. I think it will be interesting having everyone try to remember all their various abilities once we're at a higher level, because we're making 10th level characters for Smashfinder at the moment. For what we're doing on that, I'm up to, I can't remember. I don't think I've quite finished. I think my kobold, they're all kobolds. My kobold Kai, Beastmaster Sorcerer, as decided by the Dangerlings. That is he's about level 7 or 8 by now. And I'm kind of just getting him out, putting a level on him whenever I've got a bit of time. But he's pretty fun. He's got a giant snake and all sorts.
Ooh.
But that took a while. And that will be the highest level Pathfinder 2nd edition we've ever played. So that'll be a nice taste of what it's going to be like being at, I say high levels. Level 10 is technically mid-level for Pathfinder for 2nd edition, because you meant to go all the way to 20, but it'll be interesting to see how that goes. I think we'll handle it. I think hopefully there'll be more material by that point. Hopefully there'll be more converting first edition adventures into 2nd edition at high levels is going to be quite a bit of work, I imagine. But
yeah, and I think obviously you've sort of touched upon this point already. I think that technically it's mid-level, but I don't think many people play their characters to level 20. Because it's it's a big investment, and you tend to wrap up whatever story you're in, and then possibly even think, do you know what, I've been playing this character for 3 years or however long you've been playing, because campaigns take a while. It's like maybe we'll just leave it to one side. Hello, Ross.
What's the feeling from the Dangerlings? Do you prefer high level or low level?
Well, we've had a bit of Rogvigurg thinks that Pathfinder 2 is designed to run similarly at each level, which is an interesting. I think it is a bit more balanced. Starfinder is certainly better than Pathfinder 1. Yeah, that's true. I was actually going to ask about, is there any news about Starfinder 2? Because of course that's what's been going on. Jump on the chat. and say that everyone's just saying hello to Ross right now. And did you get your
Hey,
dark
Ross is-
matter stuff?
Nice.
Well, there we go. We'll have to leave Ross to do that. Ross might be jumping on the call, hopefully.
We hope so.
He's on the chat. He has the Zoom link, and I've made space for him, so that'd be nice. But
Once he's joined us, we'll do our teeny tiny announcement.
yes, just a teeny.
no-
Oh, he's on the train. No, he's on the
He's
train.
on the train. Good. It's
More
the thing about
nonsense and
Starfinder
creativity.
2 is something they get asked about all the time, and there was this big thing earlier this year when they thought, maybe slightly erroneously, Paizo put out this huge press release, like this huge trailer image, just saying like Starfinder is going to change forever from Monday. Like there would be the biggest announcement in the history of the game. It's going to change gaming. It was and everyone was like, "Oh, Starfinder 2." It was just that. It just seemed absolutely that could be the only thing. And it was weird because it wasn't like a big convention announcement. It was just kind of out of nowhere. And it turned out it was the Alexa game.
Oh,
Which is, it is quite good. The idea you can play a role-playing game on an Alexa, that's pretty different. That is a big change. It could be something that is massive. So I can sort of see that. But I think everyone was like, Starfinder, all right.
And also there is a bit of, not everyone's totally on board with Alexa. It is very much, it's Jeff Bezos in your house, listening to you, everything you say. And I know the people who do like it, and people who don't. It's very much the kind of Apple of the, sort of that kind of thing where people I love or hate it. Just returning to Rogvigo says it's more nonsense and creativity at low levels, no easy solutions through magic, etc. Yeah, I mean, certainly magic goes crazy at high level. I mean, I think you've got more longevity if you have a more sort of melee-based or sort of, skill-based party.
Yeah.
Because you can do things like heists and stuff, you can still have quite a challenge. With the magic, I mean, by the time you get up to the top levels, it's like you can melt cities. It's like, okay. Or like, oh, there's a dragon. I turn it into primal ooze. It's like, wow.
I find that there are three phases to a group of players in a fantasy role-playing game. You have the low-level ones, which I think the Danger Club have been through, which are the use intimidate every single round one. And we've sort of talked about this, and it's because because everything can kill you. Like you're so fragile, and one lucky hit, one crit, and you can be permadead, especially in first edition. It's so deadly at lower levels. And so you get this thing of being like, you score one hit, and then immediately you're just like, I want to roll intimidate against him to make him give up. Because it's just this constant thing of just being like, I need this fight to end immediately. We cannot keep doing this. This isn't sustainable. 1 hit point. All right, give up, mate. Give up. It's over. Please, please, please. All right, 2 hit points. Give up now. Give up now. And so it becomes a thing. Then you get into the mid levels, which is where adventurer hubris creeps in. And adventurer hubris is this thing that happens to so many adventuring parties and so many player groups. And it's where your characters have gotten significantly more powerful than the people that they are there to protect. And so they start to just be really dickish to just random people that they meet in the street. And they start to just be really dismissive of every NPC because they're like, well, I could kill you. I don't care. I killed an ogre once. So why the hell do I have to listen to you? And so they get quite uppity and become a real pain to deal with.
Yeah, bit belligerent.
Yeah, it's like the awkward teenage years of an adventuring party. And then they kind of go through that. Hubris kind of bites them at some point because they meet something that they can't beat, or they realize they're a bigger fish. And you kind of grow out of that after a while and become, if you're a goodly party at least, become this sort of benevolent protectors, or you sort of move beyond that, getting into fights with peasants. Because if you're not, you're King Arthur in Holy Grail fighting with the peasants.
Yeah, absolutely.
But by that point, at the end goal is coming to terms with the fact that you're the most powerful people in the game. Which is another really difficult thing for it. I can remember you guys getting furious in a game we ran once because you couldn't find a high level cleric, like a really high level cleric to come in. You were like, let's find the highest level cleric in the city. I mean, it's a powerful one, and you got like a level 5 cleric turn up, and you were just furious. And I was like, well, you guys are that. You guys are the most powerful people in the kingdom now.
Yeah.
So, like, there's no one bigger that you can call to deal with this now. You are it.
Yes.
I love that kind of progression that people go through on it. I'm fascinated to see where the Danger Club go with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Just there's quite a big discussion taking place because Steve said about Well, one of those things that was bigger for the company than for the fans, the Alexa thing, like AP100. And apparently the 100th Adventure Path. And they really built it up. And apparently Steve says, sort of, Rogdago's played it. It's an interesting chat that's going on there. I've not heard of the 100th Adventure Path, but I mean, obviously...
Is that the one on Alexa, or is that a...
No, I think that seems to be separate. So the Alexa one, it was sort of... It hasn't really taken off as much as they hoped it would. No, the 100th Adventure Path.
Are we talking Pathfinder or Starfinder?
It is something to do with Book 4 of Hell's Rebels, apparently. No, it's the 100th AP volume.
Okay.
Yeah, so there we go.
Okay.
So not 100th Adventure Path. I know.
That was a while ago. Yeah, I can't remember what number they're on now.
Yes. Well, it seems to be... Now, what we're going to...
What's next?
Well, what is next? That's the thing. Now, it seems like Ross is on a train, so I don't think we should expect Ross anytime soon. He is on the chat, but not on the thing. So, and with an eye to time, as it is 6:22, perhaps, we should move on to a little announcement that we might have.
Should we do the announcement? I mean, it's a really small announcement.
It's only it's a tiny one.
We could put it off for another week, to be honest. Another couple. I'm sure people don't. You guys don't need to know about this, right?
No, it's not. It's not. It's actually. It's been very. There's been a huge lack of interest, sort of generally whenever the subjects come up. So, yeah,
they're going to kill us.
Yes, they will.
All right, should we do it?
Yes.
Dangerlings, we are very happy to tell you that from the start of October, from October the 5th. Everything goes to plan. The Danger Club podcast will have a Patreon.
Oh!
Finally, you have been asking for it for so long. You've been asking for it since before the pandemic. All of that kind of jumped in, stopped us. We had a plan in place, and then the world changed and everything got paused. And now we finally got back on it. And we brought it. The whole plan was to bring it out with episode 100. We kind of have. Albeit we moved episode 100 by 6 months.
Yes.
And made it 6 episodes long.
Yes.
But we have a Patreon coming out.
Patreon.
And you will be able to help support us. And you will be able to get really cool things that go along with that.
Indeed you will. So we've had some nice responses. Huzzah! Let us throw lots of cash at you. Candice is happy. Woohoo, says Steve. He woke up for this. Well done. I'm glad you were not disappointed. Yes, says Steph. Tremendous, happy and proud, sort of all around, which is great. And thank you so much. We've got such an incredible supportive community. I know you guys have been asking for it, and we won't dwell on it. But like many other things, this year did throw a little bit of a spanner in the works. We were quite literally gearing up for it to coincide with episode 100, and then the world ended. So, but now the world has begun again, and you get your chance to pledge your support, sort of your ongoing support, so we can do some more cool things. Speaking of which, what can they expect?
Yes. So, I take it everyone knows what a Patreon is.
What is a Patreon, Dan?
Oh, thank you very much, James. Very well. Excellent boosting there, setting me up. So Patreon is a way for you to support us. We were looking to different ways that we could bring in revenue with the podcast, which will allow us to grow and allow us to do more, because that's what ultimately we want to do. Is we want to make more content. We want to make more stuff for you. We've already added Dangerous Wednesdays in, so we've already added like an extra hour of content every week. So we're like, now what else can we do that's going to be interesting and that people are going to enjoy? And a lot of that is going to cost money. And I can tell you, running a podcast that has got to this side is not cheap. There are certain costs and things that have come into it, especially getting everyone together now that everyone's a bit spread out.
My fee is extortionate.
Yes, but that does help us. That helps us to do that. It's not about like us, like none of us are going to get rich off a Pathfinder podcast, but it is going to help us to do some fun things and hopefully appear at shows and bring more stuff to you. So it's a way for you to subscribe every month, give us some money, and in return you're going to get different things. So you've got different tiers. We've got a lot of different tiers along here that you can subscribe to, and you get different benefits at any of them. Should we go through the tiers? Should we do that?
Yes.
Be exciting.
I
Ross,
think.
how far away is Ross?
How
'Cause
far
when
away is Ross?
goes,
He did say he might be 6:30. So hopefully we were sort of trying to hold off so he could be here as well. But he will be joining us. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Ross Harmston, aka Ross, will be here with us to celebrate in this launch of the Patreon. Well, no, this isn't the launch of the Patreon. This is the first official announcement of. I know
It
quite a
is.
few of you. The rumor mill has been churning away. And it's 5 minutes. He says 5 minutes. So 5 minutes
Whoa.
Turkish. 6:30 was a good one, but we did want to go through the tiers as well, so we won't have enough time for this. But this isn't. It is being launched on, when was it, Dan?
It's October the 5th. It will
October
go
the
live.
5th.
That's the plan.
October the
Yeah,
5th. Okay, October the
start
5th. What was
getting
that?
some of
October the 5th.
bonus things.
So from that point, you will be able to go on to one of the Patreon tiers. So I guess, when do I get my slave for the day? Says Candice. When your child grows up, Candice.
Oh, you know nothing about having children, dear.
Oh, I know. Bless her. I know. I know that. That's why I currently have no children. But so people are going to be logging on there. And what's the first tier that they will see?
All right, so you can pick your amount. So you can pick how much you want to pledge every month, and
Yes.
you'll get things based on that. So the first level it's a standard thing that everybody's got, £2 a month. We went with pounds rather than dollars. That, in retrospect, after Brexit, may be a foolish thing, but at the moment
We're not going to make
but
any
we
money from this
understand
Patreon because it basically, pounds are going to be worth nothing.
should have put it in rubles or something, but no, it's in pounds. So £2 a month. £2 a month. That's just gonna help us out. We'll put your name on the website. We're gonna put a section on there with all our patrons. We'll put that in there, so you can go on the website. You can click on it. You can look at it, and you can say, "I'm a Dangerling. I helped out the Danger Club podcast," and that's just something that just helps us keep going. That's a simple one. Then you got the £5 tier. The £5 one is the one that I'm really excited about. I think that's the one that we've put a lot of, not the most thought, but like it's the one that we're really excited about because we think it's the one that a lot of people are going to really, really into. The £5 tier will give you access to the Patreon exclusive Danger Club podcast feed. You are going to get a second podcast feed, the Danger Club Adventurers Pack. There is going to be a whole lot of new shows and new content on that is Patreon exclusive. So for a start, you're going to get 2 new shows on there to begin with. You're going to get, one brand new show and one sort of new show. You're going to get the audio version of Dangerous Wednesdays every week on that feed. So if you miss Dangerous Wednesdays now, if you can't be around in the middle of the night, Steve, or sort of middle of the working day, those of you in America, and
He doesn't need sleep. He's
even
literally
6 o'clock for Ross, who's on a train.
Yeah. Steve doesn't need sleep. He
If
runs on Danger.
This isn't a good time for you, if you don't, yeah, we all run on Danger. If this isn't a good time for you, if you don't want to have to catch up on the video, for a lot of people, video isn't the way you want to listen to things. It's not the way I watch and listen to stuff. I don't know about you, James, but I want things in podcast form. I want stuff that's going to appear in my podcast app, and I can just listen to alongside that.
Oh, I'm a watcher.
And that's so what you're going to get is this will still go out as a live stream show, but then later in the week you're going to get an audio version of it that you can pick up on your podcast feed. In addition to that, because that's a nice thing, but it's not.
It is a nice thing, and it's worth saying as well, of course, that on Twitch and things like that, there is a time limit on how long things stay there. We don't set that time limit; it's set by Twitch themselves, so they will eventually drop off the edge of the screen. But of course, if you do come to that Patreon and you want to listen back to any of the previous recordings, they will all be there. All of them
will be. So you can get the whole archive of Dangerous Wednesdays. I think I've got the audio of the other one, so we'll put the old episodes on there as well. So you'll have the full run of Dangerous Wednesdays, including stuff like, I don't think the 1,000-Year-Old Vampire ones work without video, but there's like a really old one of me, Ross, and James discussing like GM and like adventure prep that we did way back when we were just testing everything out and we weren't sure if it would work. And I've got the audio of that, so we'll stick that on there. We've got all sorts of fun little stuff, and anytime we do extra bits, there's all sorts of little extra things which we can put on there. There's some songs that Colin has made over the years that we never released, that those could end up on there. But it's not just that. You are also going to get something new, something completely exclusive to Patreon subscribers. If you are a £5 Patreon subscriber, then you will get access to a brand new show that we are making, a retrospective show hosted by Colin. I think pretty sure it's hosted by Colin. We're still nailing it down and recording them all. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to be going back over the history of the Danger Club podcast, and we are going to be listening to old episodes, and we're going to be telling you the stories from behind the scenes of how we made that. Some of it will be like GM advice, some of it will be a bit like what we've done on the DMQs back when we used to do those, or they're, you know, in a bit more detail because we're deep diving on every episode. So we'll look at kind of how we made the show, we'll look at some of the stories behind it, where we're recording it, and I think like sometimes we'll do like one episode will be a whole episode. Sometimes we might focus on a few episodes if there's a few that, you know, don't we're not where a lot happened on all of them, but, you know, whether we can spread the stories across a few of them. But that'll be a new show that you will get on that feed, where you will get to just hear the stories of everything, and you can go back to the beginning. And not only that, we're also going to do some extra stuff alongside it. So we're going to do some listen along parties as we move along, where to prep for that show, we are going to listen back to the episode, and we'll arrange a time to do it, and when we'll live stream it on a Patreon exclusive section where you can come and join that, and you can watch the live stream, and we will basically give you a director's commentary. We can all hit play on the episode at the same time, and then we'll give you a behind the scenes commentary as we go through that. So that's a whole load of new content that you'll be getting every week. Yeah. And what you get with that, it's really cool with Patreon. You get an RSS link that you can paste into your podcast app, and then it will just add it to your normal podcast. You don't have to go anywhere special to get it. Once you subscribe to it, it will just appear in your feed like it does, like the main Danger Club does. So you're going to have all this extra stuff, which is very exciting. On top of all of that, that feed may grow over time. That is all we got. That's all we're having at launch, because it's about all we can do in terms of time and money. But if we get to a point later on when we're pulling in enough that we can afford to put a bit more time into stuff, who knows? Who knows what could end up on that feed, James? We could end up with, what if we end up with like we might end up with a whole new campaign on that feed. You know, you might get a whole new actual play show. Maybe we get some mini adventures, things like that appearing on that Patreon tier. So there's going to be so much extra content on there that you can get. I cannot wait to get started. We're literally, after we finish this stream, we're jumping straight over to a meeting with the rest of the club, and we're going to plan out exactly all the stuff that's going to go on that tier. And it's it's exciting.
It is exciting. So yeah, we've got some good feedback for that. People are excited about that. Steve thinks it's a great idea. Haven't heard anyone doing that before. Alakar was considering making a fan cast before. Sounds like we'll scratch the itch. Yeah, they probably will. And Rogford Goat was already considering a re-listen. So here the first few downloaded. So yeah, there we go. Because it just makes a bit more, rather than having to just listen to the episodes again, which is great. You know, why not? I want to give you something extra and something, you know, just like the director's commentaries used to get on DVDs and stuff like that. You know, it's interesting facts and such.
Colin sent me Colin got excited and re-listened to episode 1 today, and he sent me a picture of his notes, and it's like 3 pages of notes that he's made about stuff.
Of course it is.
So it's
it's
going to be fun.
So that's the £5 tier. So what's the next tier up? And do bear in mind, it's worth saying,
the next tier, we are only just getting...
I was just going to say, sorry, there's a slight delay on our sort of line, but I was just going to say, if you're not familiar with Patreon as well, with each of these levels, you will get the rewards of all the previous levels and the one that's currently we're discussing. So all of the stuff we discussed before, you will have, and you will also have the next tier. So yeah.
That's insane. So you get,
it's like a big goodie bag.
You get so much as there's stuff's going on. All right, so the next one we've got the £10 tier. If you want to spend a little more than £5 a month, you can go up to £10 a month. And that £10 a month allows you to take part in the show effectively. £10 a month allows you to submit a list of NPCs to us. You get to give us their names. You get to tell us a little bit about them, maybe give them a job, give us an ancestry for them. You get to send those over. They will go into a big list. And whenever we encounter a random NPC in the game, which it happens a lot, in case you hadn't noticed on the show, Ross likes to talk of the devil. Here comes
Here he
Ross
is.
Armston.
Hello, Ross.
Hello, everyone.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. I was on the train 5 minutes ago, and
We
now
know.
I'm here.
And you love a train.
I do love a train. So everyone, we have a Patreon.
Thank you, Ross. And now Ross is going to go off and
Yeah, see you later, guys. Bye.
we do.
so
It's
slick.
exciting news, exciting times. We were just going through the tiers. We got to the £10 tier. How do you feel about it, Ross?
Yeah, you're the
I feel
perfect person for this, Ross, because you love asking about an NPC, don't you? If we meet an random NPC in the street, you always want to know something. You always want to know their name.
Yeah, I do.
That is
So-
like a fault.
Have you told
special.
them what it is? Have you told them what it is?
Yeah, so they're gonna get to decide those names. So you're gonna give us that list. You're gonna give us that list of it, NPC names and a bit about them. It will go onto our sheet, and anytime we meet a random NPC that I don't have a name for, we're gonna go into that list. We're gonna shout you out. We're going to grab your NPC, and your NPC will become part of your world. Do you know people? Do you have friends that you want to end up in the world of the Danger Club podcast? Give us their names. We'll put them in our world. We will put them in our world, and they'll probably end up getting murdered by Fulton.
Absolutely.
That's
And
a lot.
we just had a long-term Dangerling and friend. It's Matt Mad Turnips has logged on. He was like, "Oh, what have I missed? The Patreon. We're being released on the 5th of October." But of course, leggings check. Before I go any further, Dan.
Of course. Can't do it.
Oh, you can't do it. You got a backdrop. Oh, no, there. Oh, look at that. Look at
There we
that.
go.
He's rocking the glam rock today. So yeah, lots of fun. Sort of people are liking these. The Dangerlings are liking these sort of suggestions. It's quite because we wanted to involve you as much as possible as well, not just thanks for supporting us. Like you get to put an NPC in there.
Get to actually start to influence the world. Then we go out to £15. £15 a month. You get to really be the star of it. £15 a month means you become our Dangerling of the week. When you're our Dangerling of the week, you know that you made an episode possible. Basically, by putting that money in, you helped us to really helped us to meet it, and that means you will be credited as our Dangerling of the week. You will be given a shout out at the very top of the show. We will tell you who brought you this episode, which Dangerling has allowed you to enjoy this episode of the Danger Club podcast today. So you will become the star of that, of the show at that one. That's our big thank you for that. Not just a name on the website. You can get your name shouted out on the show itself.
Absolutely. Forever immortalized.
After that, ever immortalized, because we can never be bothered to go back and edit the old episode. Someone has to take you out. Your name will be there forever. Alongside all of the evil Danger Club podcast member that we don't talk about. But imagine that. Imagine if we had another, there was a cast member we just edited out of every old episode.
It's just like a 5-second pause every time.
Yeah. Or sort of Morgan Freeman's voice just saying the lines in a really sort of robotic way.
So now we start to get. Now it starts to get crazy. Now it starts to get into to fun stuff, and there aren't many. You'll notice there aren't a lot of physical rewards on this, and that's because we have a really international audience, which we love. We have most of our listeners are in America. We have listeners in Australia, obviously with Steve and plenty of others. Listeners in Canada and Sweden, in Romania. We've got a lot of listeners in Romania. Ross, do you expect us to be big in Romania?
No. Do you know the Romanian national anthem?
You do you?
No, I said, do you?
Oh,
Are you going to sing the Romanian national anthem for us, Ross? Is that?
Yeah,
this is unexpected.
Let me just type away on my keyboard for some random reason, and then you'll get it perfectly.
This should have been a Patreon tier. Sing national anthem. This is the kind of excellent bonus content you'll be able to get
This is true.
in your podcast feed.
Oh my God.
If you're up the £5 tier. So the £25 tier, this is our physical thing. The £25 tier is the Danger Shirt Club. We may call it something else, but it is t-shirts. You're going to get t-shirts. You're going to get merch.
What?
Exclusive Danger Club merch 3 times a year. If you're subscribing to that, 3 times a year, you're going to get a exclusive, Patreon exclusive Danger Club t-shirt sent to your home. and there will be different ones firstly there'll be different ones. So if you subscribe for a full year, you can get 3 completely new designs. They're also going to be completely exclusive to the Patreon. So if we start selling shirts through the site, or if we start selling them at live events, those won't be the Patreon shirts. These Patreon shirts will be ones that you can only get if you are on the Patreon. So you will have some unique designs. Some of them are going to be done by our favorite artists. Some of them are going to be done by us. Some of them are going to be jokes to do with things that have happened in the show. But it'll be a chance if you want to go to a convention and show and fly your Danger Club flag. Previously, the only way to do that was to be a member of the cast or to be one of the very small number of people who helped us out directly with like photo shoots and things like Stu, or be Candace's baby. I think they were the only people who managed to get Danger Club shirts. Now you too can have a brand new Danger Club shirt by subscribing to the £25 tier. That is exciting. You do have to subscribe for like 3 months, I think, to get the t-shirt. But that's how you get the t-shirts. They're going to be really good.
That's a really super cool one. Yeah, and we did lots of discussions. That's going to be quite exciting going forward, because we're going to sort of, all sorts of Steve's already said, I see you crying out for a t-shirt. I've got to say, a long time ago there were people who wanted Velda Leaves. There's been all sorts of, my sister made me one actually, a Velda Leaves t-shirt, which I sort of need to rock out. So we're going to be doing all kinds of that, all kinds of those sort of slogans and commissioned art and things like that. It should be very, very exciting.
I got stopped outside the Tower of London once by security while they made me explain what my I'm a Philippe the Devil Monkey Guy t-shirt meant. Because I've got loads of with. That won't be one of them. That one looks awful.
Well, but
better ones than that.
Again, you've got all these sort of characters, and
you're wearing one at the moment.
I am, yeah. This is one I made for Ross's birthday, and then made myself one as well.
Yes, yeah. So at the moment, because we are the guys who wear our own merch, you'll notice I'm also wearing a Danger Club t-shirt, especially in honour of tonight, because obviously the big announcement. Velda Leaves, Grim Optimism nailed it. Yeah, we've got quite a few little sayings that happened over the years, and don't forget all the spin-off characters which have been big hits as well. And now Sick Wolf are out there as too. Who knows?
Sick Wolf. Imagine a Sick Wolf World Tour t-shirt or something like that.
Well, so who knows? But yes, you as the Patreon member will have an exclusive access to those. Just a big shout out to Ross's t-shirt. It is black on a black background. So it's currently the floating head of Ross Harmston on the which will also be a later tier where you get to possess the floating head of Ross Harmston. So
I can't think of anything more frightening.
No, you pay so it won't come and visit you. That's the
Should we talk about the insane tiers?
Yeah, let's do it. So now we're getting a little bit more into crazy territory. So that was what tier was that? To remind me, Dan?
That was 25 a month.
Okay, it's £25 a month. And then what do we got next?
All right. So when we started doing this, we talked to our friends, and they said the most important thing to remember about Patreon is don't assume what your listeners want to pay for you. Give them options. Give them the high tiers as well, in case because you never know who's listening, and and who knows.
Because assuming makes a
faulting out of you.
No, you got to finish.
I don't want to assume what the end of that phrase is.
No, you go. Assuming makes an ass out of you and me. Oh, fuck! Forget it.
You said assuming, so it makes. An ass
whatever.
Out of you and me.
All right. Assuming makes an ass out of you and Ming. Not Ming the Merciless.
Well, Ming the Merciless.
Flash Gordon.
He was a bit of an ass, though, wasn't he? To be honest, I mean, like I have to say, Flash Gordon is probably my favourite film of all time, and Ming, I think I respect that.
All right, assuming makes an ass out of you and Ming. There you go. Anyway, carry on.
Brackets. The Merciless.
This is the slickest Patreon announcement that any show has
ever.
No,
this is the most Danger Club Patreon announcement, and which is suitable.
Yeah, that's why you got me on this one.
The one we tried to record the other day. Right. So now let's go for the crazies. Let's go for the mad ones. $50 a month. You want to throw us $50? Let us do crazy things. Imagine what we could do. Not $50, £50. Imagine what we could do with £50. £50, the best banknotes. Anyone's not been turned into that weird plastic.
You could buy 10 Big Mac meals from McDonald's.
The Big Mac meal, £10.
It's
No.
they are quite expensive.
I mean, you probably get about 20 Big Mac meals, about five.
No.
Wow.
McDonald's is more expensive than that. I was horrified because when we were kids growing up, like McDonald's was always the cheap option. It's like, okay, we'll have a cheap, cheerful sort of, Mackie D's. And now I walked in there, it's really expensive. It's like, how much is a Big Mac? That'll be £3.70. You're like, what?
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Unbelievable.
sorry. £50.
Let's
Not
stay
that we're
on
digressing.
target. Stay on target.
I'm
Red
just here
Five.
to just constantly
Derail.
swerve off Dan's. Carry
I
on.
was so
Sorry.
I mean,
keen to come on.
On the subject of that,
Unbelievable.
Alakar says that Ross looks like Holly from Red Dwarf right now. It's true, you do. You do actually look a bit like
Yes.
Holly.
You're dead,
Yes.
Dave.
Yeah, they're all dead, Dave. They're dead.
They're all dead.
What? What? Pete Bartlett? Yeah,
Yes,
he's dead, Dave.
he's dead, Dave.
so,
Anyway.
so funny. £50.
£50. There we go.
£50. £50. Who's calling? £50. £50.
£50. You get
£50,
Ross
the floating head.
as Holly. You might get that because at £50 you get a 1 hour web hangout with a member of the Danger Club. You get a member of the Danger Club who will come and have a web hangout with you, and you can chat to us, and we will answer, give you GM advice. We will answer any questions you have. We'll do all sorts of things like that. Whatever you want to chat about, we'll do that. We'll be your private cameo. Ross will be your private dancer. We will send him to you. He can do his floating head dance live for you. Then we get fun. Then we have, this is an exciting one. This is one I hope someone does. £100. £100 a month.
£100
Going
a month.
all the way with this. £100 a month. A member of the Danger Club, an OG of the Danger Club podcast, will run you a game on Roll20 twice a year. We'll do across the year. We'll do. You get to bring your friends. We will put together an adventure for you. We'll let you pick from a few different types, a few different game systems, and we will run you an adventure. We'll do all of the voices. It might be me. It might be Ross does a lot of GMing. Scott does a lot of GMing. James has never GM'd before, and we want to get him to. That could be hilarious.
Yes.
So we will run a game for you and your friends over Roll20. We'll do all the prep. We'll bring the tokens. We'll have the music. We'll have a great time. It'll be a chance to hang out. We can have a beer. We can play a game. It'll be great. It'll be great fun. That should be where the Patreon ends, shouldn't it? That should be that is the sensible place for a Patreon to finish.
I mean, yes. But do you know what? We just want to push it one further because we're not the first people to do this. This is quite a common thing. But we wanted a crazy tier, didn't we?
Yeah.
The Ross Harmston Memorial tier. It's as crazy as Ross's floating head.
Yeah,
cannot
because you
believe
go
it.
high or you go home. Not high in the sense of don't do drugs, kids. High in the sense of money. Or high if you ever go on an airplane. Or if you go on a hot air balloon. It doesn't have to be an airplane. Or it could be skydiving. Or what other things can you do at height? You could go up the Shard. You could also...
And that's right. And now to let you know that with every tier of the Patreon, you are welcome to join Ross's free sales consultancy lecture every Wednesday, where he will go through his infallible sales tips, as you've just demonstrated there. So
There you go.
it's good.
Carry on. Go high or go home. That's what the top tier one's called, yeah.
I think
That's the top
didn't-
one, is it?
Yeah, didn't
I'm joking.
Leonardo DiCaprio say that in The Wolf of Wall Street?
Probably, yeah.
Probably.
In Titanic, I think, when the back of the ship was going up. Was
Yeah.
and
Go-
ironically,
Go
he
high,
never went
Rose.
home.
Go high.
Um,
Or pull me out the
Right.
water. For God's sake, just pull me out the water. I mean, what?
Two
anyway.
people could fit on that door.
Two people could fit in that door
Easy.
easily.
Easy.
Like, she could not. She murdered him. She murdered him.
Speaking of murder, there you go, Dan.
It's Dan, the Dungeon
Possible.
Master.
at the next tier, Ross will kill someone for you. Bullied at school, someone picking on your kid. Ross will take care of that.
Trouble at the water cooler at work. Yeah, it's good.
And
good.
we're not putting a limit on subscribers for that, so Ross is going to be very busy because that is
Yes.
actually quite a competitive rate for a hit now.
Yeah.
So, £500 tier.
What? it.
If you want to give us £500, I cannot believe we even have this. If you want to gift somebody this for a month as like as a special thing, as a gift, if you want to pay £500 to us on behalf of somebody or on behalf of yourself, you get the works. You will become the king of the Danger Club for a while. You are going to get a custom episode of the Danger Club podcast, which you will get to star in, which will feature your character, feature your choice of characters from the show. So you can team up with any mixture. You can team up with Basco Mops and Velda, and I'm just listing characters from the Velda book, with Fulton, with Caragor, with any of the characters that you want to come along on this adventure. They will come along. We will record an episode which will be released. People will be able to hear you going on an adventure with your bestest buddies, the Danger Club. You are going to get character art. You are going to get a signed photo of the club. Colin will write you a song. You will basically be literally our king. You'll be like a patron in the medieval sense of the word. Is it medieval?
Ross will toil in your fields with his oxen.
Ross will be your serf.
He likes it, actually.
Your liege. Your liege?
No, they will be your liege.
Yeah.
We've explained feudalism to you so many times, Ross.
Look.
It's the only way you got to agree to this.
Yeah.
But that's the tiers. That's all the different things. So there's so many. And remember, every one of those tiers, you get all of the stuff that was on all of the previous ones.
You do.
You know, if you do the £500, you get everything.
Yeah.
Imagine Stu Jackson. You get your own song that we made already, but you get it with the production values, beats and everything else, and like echoes in your name and things.
It's true. It's true. I didn't want to say to you guys, just because of all the people who aren't here today, Stu Jackson is not on this call as far as I'm aware. He's not said hello and he's not made himself present felt. Stu, if you're there, do let us know. But yeah, Stu's already had a taste of having his own song, but it will be professionally produced. And also, this was something that Dan touched on earlier, is that obviously with the Patreon, that we're going to be able to start expanding, doing some bigger and better things. And anything that comes along, then we will be adding to these Patreon levels. Like we mentioned, live shows, if we start doing those, hidden conventions, all this kind of stuff, like we'll be able to include that. So this is a starting framework, which obviously, over time will become expanded and what's the word? Refined. There we are.
What's the vibe, James, so far?
The vibe is good.
I haven't got, because last time I did this, James had shouted at me because I had the Twitch up on my phone while I was doing it, so I could see what everyone was saying. He shouted at me, and then he threw a glass at me, and it hit me on the head. And it's left a scar, but you can't see it. But he told me not to tell anyone, but I'm doing it now. So there you go.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true, because if words so often don't solve things with Ross, so violence is the only thing he'll actually understand. You've got to be cool to be kind sometimes, and he needs no limits. He's currently in a wardrobe in my room where I keep him shackled up. It's for his own good, and he eats Cheetos and raw bits of steak. Now, a good question here
from the £500 tier, Ross. You can then you can have somebody come and kill James. I mean, it's you.
Yeah.
So it's it's literally he's tried. I know you bully James, says Steve. I didn't. Now, Steve did make a good point. You didn't list the caps. Presumably, the upper tiers are limited in number. Well, we won't go too much into the nuts and bolts of that, because all the details are on the Patreon website, which is, let me see if I can remember this, patreon.com/ the Danger Club podcast. No, got it wrong. Forget that. Forget what I said. Ross, what was it?
It was radio. Ross, have a go.
Danger Club podcast.
No, you're just saying what we are.
Well, no, it's obviously Patreon / Danger Club podcast.
That is correct. Yes, patreon.com.
I don't need to give you the what website
I said
is.
Danger Club podcast.
No, you didn't. You said the Danger Club podcast.
How dare you? I'm gonna. Where's my glass? Where is it?
Everyone that's now scrabbling to Patreon, It's not live yet.
Yes, so this will be on the 5th of October. This will go live at patreon.com/Danger Club Podcast, and it will list all one word. Yes, all one word, I believe. And it will list all of the details there. Now, of course, I'm not sure if people can access it before it goes live. But
I think you can look at it and it's a blank page at the moment.
So if you look at it, it's currently a blank page. This will be the address when it goes live. We will be reminding people and obviously talking about it a bit more in the weeks to come. And then when it goes live, obviously you'll be able to review all of the tiers. It'll all be there in beautiful detail. Scott's been doing a lot of work on it. Thank you, Scott, to make it look fabulous. So yeah, how are you feeling, guys? Let us know, the Dangerlings. Candice has to go and put the baby to bed, but is so excited, guys, in capital letters. That's great. And Steph says yes, no. Oh, you can't access prior going live. No. So, sorry, we should have mentioned that before. So you won't be able to go on there and sign up yet because obviously there isn't a sort of delay function. You can't pre-order Patreon. We did look at all these sorts of things. It is literally, when it goes live, it'll be... and you'll be able to select your level. And then the rewards will start to roll your way.
There will be content on there from day one. So if you subscribe if you subscribe to that bonus feed, if you're on £5 tier or above, then you're going to get some brand new podcast content on October the 5th. Like the moment you subscribe, you will get a bunch of extra stuff.
Yes, exactly. It will
lots
be
of audio for you all.
And actually, just a little thing for our bestest buddies, the Dangerlings, who are on the stream. You don't actually have to pay for it for the first month. It charges you at the end of the month, so you can spend the whole month getting bonus stuff before you have to pay for it. So if you're waiting on a paycheck, just subscribe. Just go in there, just click on it.
Absolutely.
And get all the good stuff, and then worry about that later on. Paying for stuff is a tomorrow problem.
Yes.
Always is.
I mean, that's the world we live in right now. Speaking of the world we live in right now, Ross, how are you feeling about the Patreon? It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, I'm feeling very excited. This is the next step to give the audience, more stuff and more things. And, we've been getting a lot of love from all the Dangerlings throughout these last 2 years. And it's nice to give back something for them, for all their support that they've been giving over these years. Give them more things to listen to, an extra thing like t-shirts. It's really exciting. So yeah, it's all for you guys. You guys wouldn't have made this possible had you guys not started subscribing and listening to it and tweeting about it and bigging us up everywhere. We wouldn't have probably done this Patreon. But it's because of you we've set this up, because we want to give you more.
It is.
We want to give you more.
It's very much, as Ross says, you are the foundation on which we built this podcast, and you're the ones who listen to it and support us, and it's great to do that. And of course, this is one step on a broader path, on a longer plan. So that we will be marching forward with you, and that's continued support together as a sort of big happy Danger family, and on to bigger and more exciting things. Obviously, we can't tell you what those things are right now because some of them we don't know, but who knows? We do have some longer term plans.
This is the start of phase 2 of the Danger Club podcast as a project. I feel like, our first, because it was really, there's a lot of podcasts that launch their Patreon on the first, as soon as they're running. We were adamant, we're not doing it until we hit triple digits. We're going to earn that audience. We're going to make sure that it's going to be worth subscribing to it. And it's why we never did something like a Ko-fi or a PayPal link just on the site, because we want to give you something back for what you're doing. And all of this is going to allow us to make more stuff, to make new, really exciting content. And I'm not going to, what I'm like, I will start spouting off things that I shouldn't talk about, but I'm so excited about some of the stuff that we are thinking about doing.
My hand's hovering over the cancel Dan button. Just as he starts getting very excited. Bye, Rock Video. Thanks so much for joining us. And tweet yourselves, Danger Club, says Steve Geddes. Yeah, big up. Yeah. Tweet us, Danger Club. We can. We actually can. That's the one we really can. And this brought us nicely to 7 o'clock. So it is the hour where we're going to finish. So excited about finally being able to release this the news about the Patreon to you. As we said, it's the 5th of October. It'll go live. So if you are listening to this post. You won't be able to access anything right now, but we've hopefully wet your whistle with some of the tasty treats that will be coming for your ears and your danger gland.
So tasty.
So dangerous. So in sort of conclusion, what anything more to say, Dan? Any more comments? How are you feeling?
I'm so excited to finally have this out in the world. This is something that's been sitting on my iPad for like a year. Some of these tiers happened, some of these ideas, and I'm just really excited that we get to actually make some of this stuff, and we get to do, that we're going to have a production meeting in a minute about a show that isn't the main Danger Club podcast show, that is this retrospective thing. We get to make new content that is going to go up for you, and I'm so excited.
It's going to be very exciting.
Ross is doing that.
I'm going to be passing on to that only slightly undermined by Ross's curious dance. I think he might be trying to mate with you. I'm not sure. Here is the harmston in his natural habitat, doing his funny dance. How are you feeling, Ross? You've said a little bit more. Any last comments?
No. Big up yourselves. Well done to everyone for just always being there, always listening, and hopefully this is the start of the end game from phase 3 or phase 2 or whatever. Well, it's like Marvel, isn't it? It's the phases.
This is the beginning of phase 2, I think.
Yeah, but what was phase 2 in Marvel? Oh, was that the Avengers first film? I don't know. Anyway, but yeah,
have you taken your medication today, Ross?
We're leading up to Endgame, where the big click, and then we just all disappear, and then the podcast is no more. But yeah, that's going to be fun up to then.
It will. It will. And that there's verbatim going on our advertising again for the Patreon. The big click of phase 3 as we work up for the end game of phase 1. And we just got a couple of questions actually before we finish. I'm going to quickly throw, so we got some very quick answers. So Steve says, a few questions, Steve. Will we use the annual all at once option as an option? I don't think so.
Haven't decided yet.
No,
I do quite like the annual option. The annual option is pretty fun. I only discovered it sort of yesterday as we were recording. But yeah, we're gonna have a look at that. That basically allows you to pay for a year subscription in advance, which is a tempting idea. If we can fit it in with what else we're doing, then that'd be cool.
Yeah, absolutely. We've also got. Can we discuss some Patreon goals next week, maybe? Or are we going to play that by ear a bit? We'll be talking about the Patreon again. Yep.
Yeah, we'll talk about it a bit more next week. Maybe we will have some goals for you. How about that?
Yes, absolutely. Alucard's
might be a little longer on the goals, but like there are. I mean, we have the. We already had the goal of I will wear a cat suit for Dangerous Wednesdays if we hit a certain tier. Maybe that'll be our first one. We have got some cooler ones. We have got ones for actual content.
Can you dress up actually like a cat?
Oh, I really love that.
I mean, that's probably more one for me.
You can dress up like a fox.
As I sit here with my ears every week, clearly on. So maybe I'll go full cats and come to you dressed in a leotard as a full fox.
Don't ever go cats. Don't ever go full cats.
Oh yes.
Never go full cat.
Angelical James. So Alucard, so Starfinder show? Who knows what we might be doing, but quite possibly nothing's off the table at the moment. And Ross, you need to read Dark Matter ASAP. It's great, says Alucard.
I know. I mean, I've got thousands of other RPG Kickstarters that I've also got. So yeah, I will be looking at it though. And I will mention it next time I'm on Dangerous Wednesday, and we can talk.
Definitely. And in the run-up to October the 5th, we're going to try and get as many of the Danger Club here on Dangerous Wednesdays, because this is fast becoming a favourite feature. I love it. I hope you enjoy it as well. We certainly really, really enjoy putting these on. And, of course, as we said, this is going to be sort of a regular part of the schedule. But it is now 7:05. The candles are being put outside. I don't know. I just suddenly assumed I was living in Victorian London, so not sure where I was going with that.
Rigger, you're dead.
Yeah, definitely. Now, we seem to be caught in a bit of a time paradox. So it's probably best to end Dangerous Wednesdays. From Dan.
Goodbye, everyone. Thank you so much. Throw money at us. Let us make nice things for you.
Yes, and Ross.
Goodbye, everyone. Peace and love.
That is the least Ross Harmson thing I've ever heard you say. And from me, James, aka Foxy Lockhart, thank you so much for joining us. Such exciting news about the Patreon. We can't wait to be sharing some of this stuff with you. And stay dangerous. See you later, guys.
Bye.